They did it. WWE actually did it. After years of teasing, after countless false starts, after fans begging for this moment, the Shield is back. But here's what's got me absolutely fired up, and why you need to pay attention to every single word I'm about to say. WWE brought back the most iconic faction of the modern era by having Dean Ambrose, yes, Dean Ambrose, not Jon Moxley, revealed as the mystery attacker who's been brutalizing Bron Breakker on Smackdown. And while half the internet is losing their minds with excitement, I'm here to tell you why this is either the most genius move WWE has made in a decade, or the most catastrophic mistake that's going to blow up in their faces. Because bringing back Dean Ambrose, reuniting the Shield, and having them target the future of WWE in Bron Breakker isn't just a storyline. This is WWE making a statement about what they value, who they trust, and where this company is heading. And depending on where you stand, you're either celebrating or you should be furious. But before we break down every single layer of this bombshell announcement, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Ring Rumble 1 is the only channel giving you the real analysis without the corporate talking points and without the fear of losing access. We tell the truth about what's happening in WWE, whether the company likes it or not. So smash that subscribe button, demolish that notification bell, and turn on all notifications because the wrestling world just changed forever, and you're going to want to hear every update we bring you. Now let's talk about why the Shield's reunion is sending shockwaves through the entire industry. Let me set the scene for those who might have missed the absolute chaos that unfolded on Smackdown. For the past 6 weeks, Bron Breakker has been getting attacked by a mystery assailant. We're talking brutal, vicious attacks. Breakker getting jumped in the parking lot. Breakker getting ambushed during his matches. Breakker getting laid out with steel chairs, with kendo sticks, with everything except the kitchen sink. And WWE played this perfectly, they kept the attacker's identity hidden. Hooded figures. Camera angles that never quite caught the face. The internet went wild with speculation. Was it Gunther seeking revenge? Was it someone from NXT who had history with Breakker? Was it a returning legend? The theories were endless. But nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted it would be Dean Ambrose. Because Dean Ambrose, as far as the wrestling world was concerned, was dead. That name died when Jon Moxley walked out of WWE in 2019. Went to AEW, and became one of the biggest stars in that company's history. Moxley burned every bridge, torched WWE in interviews, talked about how creatively stifled he was, how miserable the environment made him. The idea of Dean Ambrose ever returning seemed about as likely as CM Punk coming back to WWE, oh wait. But there he was. Smackdown this week. Bron Breakker in the ring, calling out his mystery attacker, demanding they show their face. The lights go out. When they come back on, there's a figure in the ring. Breakker charges. The figure sidesteps, hits him with a dirty deeds out of nowhere. The crowd is losing their minds but still doesn't know who it is. Then the figure slowly pulls back the hood, and the arena explodes. It's Dean Ambrose. Not Jon Moxley. Dean Ambrose. Shaggy hair, that unhinged look in his eyes, wearing the tactical gear that made the Shield legendary. But he's not alone. Because as Breakker tries to recover, Roman Reigns' music hits. The tribal chief walks out, and you can see the smirk on his face. Then Seth Rollins' music hits. The visionary appears, and now the picture becomes crystal clear. The Shield, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose are standing together in a WWE ring for the first time since 2019. Another dirty deeds on the steel steps. Roman hits a spear that nearly cuts Breakker in half. They stand over his broken body, fists together in the iconic Shield pose, and the message is sent, the Hounds of Justice are back, and they're taking over WWE. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. How did WWE get Jon Moxley to come back as Dean Ambrose? This is a man who said he'd rather retire than go back to WWE. This is a guy who's been the face of AEW's rebellion against sports entertainment. This is someone who publicly dragged WWE's creative process, their medical care, their entire philosophy. What changed? Here's what my sources are telling me, and these are reliable sources with direct knowledge of the negotiations. Tony Khan's AEW is not in a good place financially. TV ratings are down. Attendance is struggling. There's talk that their next TV deal might not be as lucrative as they hoped. Meanwhile, Moxley's been watching former AEW talents like Cody Rhodes and potentially others succeed beyond their wildest dreams back in WWE. The money WWE offered was astronomical. We're talking a contract that makes him one of the highest paid performers in the company. But more than that, Triple H personally guaranteed Moxley that he'd have creative input, that the Shield reunion would be handled with respect, and that this wouldn't be the same WWE that drove him away. And honestly, whether you love this or hate it, you have to admit, bringing Moxley back as Dean Ambrose is a power move that only WWE could pull off. This isn't just a wrestler returning. This is WWE reclaiming a piece of their history that AEW thought they owned. This is WWE telling the wrestling world that no matter how far you run, no matter how much you badmouth the company, they can always bring you home if they want to. But here's where it gets controversial, and this is where I want you to sound off in the comments. By having the Shield reunite specifically to target Bron Breakker, WWE is making a very deliberate statement about the old guard versus the new generation. Bron Breakker represents everything WWE has been building toward: young, athletic, from a wrestling family, the corporate vision of what a WWE superstar should be. And WWE just had their three biggest stars from the 2010s destroy him. What message does that send? Is WWE saying they don't trust the new generation to carry the company? Are they admitting that they need to rely on the stars of yesterday because they haven't built tomorrow's stars effectively? Or is this actually brilliant long-term storytelling where Breakker eventually overcomes the Shield and becomes a made man in the process? I've seen the internet divided on this. Half of Twitter is celebrating, posting gifs of the Shield's greatest moments, crying tears of joy that the boys are back together. The other half is furious, saying WWE is once again prioritizing nostalgia over building new stars, that they're repeating the same mistakes that led to part-time champions and a stale product. And you know what? Both sides have a point. Reuniting with the Shield gives him that, but it also potentially undermines everything he built as a solo star. Is he going back to being the muscle of the Shield, or is he the leader now? That dynamic is going to be fascinating to watch. Seth Rollins has been spinning his wheels for months. The visionary character has been hit or miss. He's talented enough to make anything work, but you could tell he needed a direction. The Shield gives him that purpose again. But Seth's also the guy who betrayed the Shield originally. How do you reconcile that history? Did they address it, or did they pretend it never happened? WWE's track record with continuity isn't great, so we'll see. And then there's Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley, or whatever we're calling him. This is the most complicated piece of the puzzle. Moxley spent 5 years building himself as the anti-WWE wrestler. He was the guy who proved you could be successful without Vince McMahon's machine. He was AEW's top guy. And now he's back, and he's using the Dean Ambrose name, which means WWE owns that character. What does this do to his credibility? Can he go back to being the PG-friendly lunatic fringe after years of being the violent, unpredictable Moxley? Or is WWE going to let him bring some of that edge to the Dean Ambrose character? Here's my take, and this is going to make some people mad. I think this reunion only works if it's short-term. Give us 6 months of the Shield destroying everyone. Have them dominate. Have them win the titles. Let them have their WrestleMania moment. But then you have to break them up and use that breakup to elevate the next generation. If Bron Breakker is the one who finally breaks the Shield apart, if he's the one who pins Roman or Dean or Seth clean in the middle of the ring, then this whole thing is worth it. But if this turns into another situation where WWE keeps the Shield together for years because they're afraid to move on, then we're looking at the same problems that plagued WWE during the John Cena Super era. What's also interesting is the timing. WWE is in the middle of negotiating their next rights deal. They're about to launch on Netflix. They need big moments to justify the billions of dollars these media companies are paying. The Shield reunion is exact. Do you believe Bron Breakker will benefit from this program, or is he being sacrificed? Share this video with every Shield fan you know. Hit that like button if you're hyped about the boys being back. And remember, Ring Rumble 1 is the only place you're getting the unfiltered truth about what's happening in WWE. The Shield is back, and wrestling just got a whole lot more interesting.